guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are just going to be going over the 4 books that I read off camera for the month of May. If you guys are new to my channel, I usually film a few reading vlogs throughout the month, so these are just the books that I didn't read in any of the reading vlogs, but I still want to give you my overall thoughts and opinions, my review on the books. And this is what I've started doing instead of doing like whole monthly wrap-ups, because I don't want to talk about the books that I already talk about in my reading vlogs all over again at the end of the month. So this is just kind of a nice shorter video, and you can always go and watch my reading vlogs if you want to hear about all the other books I read throughout the month. Let's just get into this. Like I said, I have 4 books here. I think 1 romance, 1 romantasy, 1 fantasy, and then 1 like literary fiction. We have bad books, we have good books, and some in between. And I'm just gonna go in the order of when I finished these books. The first book that I finished this month for books that I read off camera is Beg, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams. And if you have been staying up to date on my reading vlogs, I talked about this one very briefly in a different reading vlog, just kind of explaining that I'm not really in the mood for it and that it was putting me in a slump. So already not off to a great start with this one, but this is book 3 of the When in Rome little interconnected standalone series by Sarah Adams. And let me tell you, I love When in Rome. Like, that is one of my favorite romance books. It's small town, it's no spice, it is just so cute and wholesome. And then Practice Makes Perfect is the second book, and I liked it. I think I gave it either a 3 or 3.5 star rating. I definitely did not like it as much as When in Rome, but this one, not good. I'm just gonna say that right here. I was really excited for this one because I heard that the banter was like top tier, and I love a good banter. I love enemies to lovers or rivals to lovers, but this just missed so hard. It's about Emily and Jack. It is dual POV, which I usually really like dual POV books so that you can get in the head of both of the characters. But in this one, there was just something off about it. I felt like we were jumping around so much that it just didn't seem very cohesive. But basically, Emily and Jack work at the same elementary school together in Rome, Kentucky, this small town. Jack is engaged and he's supposed to move away. I think it was to like Nebraska to get married, but then he comes back to town, and this is hot gossip. Like, if you live in a small town, you know that word just spreads quick. Everyone knows your business. Everyone. And supposedly Jack had called off the wedding. He is back in Rome, Kentucky, and Emily was really happy when he moved away because they've known each other for several years since college. She is now 30 or in her 30s, and they have always been these rivals, always like picking on each other. So she was really happy when he moved away, and now that he is back, she's not happy anymore. And also, he just bought the house right next door to Emily. So, super cute sounding premise. Again, just based on that, I was really excited for it. Also, Emily has been writing a book, and she accidentally sends the manuscript to the principal of the school, but this is like a spicy book, so she obviously does not want the principal of the elementary school to be reading her work, so there's kind of a heist to go and get that manuscript back, and she does that with Jack. All that sounds great. Sounds like it's going to be an amazing book. No. I just feel like the Sarah Adams that wrote When in Rome and the Sarah Adams that wrote this are not the same person, because I loved the writing of When in Rome. I love the characters and the character development, but in this, I hated the writing. I hated the characters. Well, I hated Emily. I liked Jack, but still not a ton. I just think that Emily's character is so annoying. Like, she acts like she is this eldest daughter, and she is the oldest daughter, but she also has an older brother. And she just is like, everything fell on me. It's like, my older brother didn't do anything. And it's like, okay, he still did. You just like don't recognize what he did. And she's complaining that her younger sisters don't recognize what she did. But like, she's not recognizing what her older brother did for them either. So that was really annoying and really grinding my gears, how she just thought she was all like high and mighty and taking care of everyone. But it's like, she still had her older brother, she still had her grandparents like raising her and her siblings. So really disliked that about her. And Jack is a pretty good male main character. He is very sweet. I don't know, he's just kind of bland, I guess I would say. He is also a writer, but he has a pen name because his dad was a writer, and he had a very rocky relationship with his dad because his dad is a narcissist. So just like growing up with a narcissistic father was really hard on him, understandably. So I definitely liked Jack's background, but as an adult, he was just kind of boring, I guess. And the romance, I'm sorry, but I felt zero chemistry between Emily and Jack. Like, they hate each other, they pick on each other all the time. Like, honestly, the way that they kind of fight and argue feels like siblings bickering and not like a couple bickering. It was just a weird dynamic. And once they actually like started being romantically involved together, it just felt like it came out of nowhere. I was like, where is the buildup? Where is literally any chemistry? There's none. And this took me about 2 weeks to read for a 300-page romance book. I just did not want to pick it up. I was extremely bored. I really disliked Emily's character, so that made me not want to pick it up. And I gave this a 2-star rating. Would not recommend this one. Like, I would definitely recommend the first When in Rome book, not this one. Nope. I am really excited for the next book just based on the hinting that we got in this book, but I'm hoping it's not a total letdown like this book was. And then the next book that I finished off camera was Enchantra, and now this is the second book in the Phantasma series. I don't know what the series is actually called. Does it say anywhere? No, I don't think so. But this is an incomplete romantasy series. There are currently 2 books out. I think there's going to be 4 total. Phantasma came out last fall, and Enchantra just came out, I think, in March or April, maybe May. I literally don't know, you guys. So this book follows the younger sister that we see in Phantasma, and I always explain Phantasma like Caraval, but make it Squid Games level. Also, it's adult, a lot more romance heavy, and a lot spicier. Well, like entirely spicier because Caraval is YA, so there's no spice. Just like a super fun romantasy read. I definitely feel like it's a palate cleanser, even though it is fantasy and we do have paranormal beings in it. It's just still like so fun and fast paced. And the fantasy aspects just seem so like real life because the series does take place in the real world and the main characters aren't like magical beings themselves. They are just human, but they come in encounter with these paranormal creatures. And when I say creatures, I mean like they're basically human, just with paranormal powers. I loved Phantasma. Like, it just blew me away. It was so much better than I ever could have expected. So I was very, very excited for Enchantra, even though in the first book I didn't really love the character that is now the main character in Enchantra. But I will say, she definitely redeemed herself for me a bit, like, throughout her own book, throughout her character growth and development. I definitely felt for her more. Basically, in this one, Genevieve, the little sister, she feels like she doesn't really have a place in the world after her mom died, and now her sister is with her partner, so it's like she's just kind of feeling all alone in the world. But then she finds this magical game called Enchantra, where basically this family of paranormal beings has to participate in what is called the Hunt every single year, and it's like this deadly game that they are trapped in because there's this demon, or I think demon or devil, who basically cursed this family of paranormal beings and makes them do this hunt every single year. So Genevieve finds herself there and she's like, this ain't good for me because I'm immortal, whereas these paranormal beings are immortal. So even when they kill each other in the game, they're fine, right? So everyone is like, girl, you are going to die. But Rowan, one of the paranormal siblings, ends up marrying Genevieve so that he can basically protect her in this hunt. And then he also gets like another point or something because he really wants to win the game to like get out of it so he's not cursed anymore. So it's like a marriage of convenience, but enemies to lovers, because Genevieve is like, I hate all of you guys. You got me trapped in this deadly game. Like, this is terrible. And, like, Rowan's siblings are still trying to actively hunt Genevieve, which is messed up because they kind of like her, but Rowan does his best to protect her. And I think this hunt lasts like a week. So throughout the week, there is some spicy stuff happening between Genevieve and Rowan so that they can get like more points from the viewers of the hunt. Yeah. Again, very, very interesting. So at first they're like, this is just no strings attached, but like any good romantasy, they start developing actual feelings for each other. And let me tell you, like, the plot twist at the end of this one, I was actually really sad. I felt so bad for both of the characters, both Genevieve and Rowan. I wasn't really sure how I was feeling about this one at first, but as the games continue, it was just so action-packed. It is a little gory and like graphic, but I never really read anything like that, so it was kind of refreshing. And I really, really, really like Rowan. Like, I thought I loved Salem, the male main character in the first book, but I don't know, Rowan might take his place. I also did really like Genevieve by the end of the book. I really, again, felt bad for her, and then I felt happy for her. And the found family aspect of this book hit me way harder than I thought it would, because again, it's just like a fun, fluffy romantasy with these paranormal beings. I ended up giving this one a 4-star rating. I didn't like it quite as much as Phantasma, but it was still really, really good. Water break. Next we have Did You Hear About Kitty Carr? This was my book club's pick for the month of May, and I'm just gonna read you the synopsis on the back because I feel like that does a better job than I would do kind of giving you a summary. It says, when Kitty Carr Tate, a white Hollywood icon, dies and bequests her multi-million-dollar estate to the wealthy young Black St. John sisters, it prompts an avalanche of questions. A celebrity in her own right, Elise St. John avoids the press by sorting out Kitty's affairs, but what she discovers in one of Kitty's journals is more shocking than any other brewing scandal. The truth behind Kitty's ascent to stardom threatens to jeopardize the all-American fabric of the sisters and those closest to them. And as Elise digs deeper into Kitty's past, she must also turn the lens upon herself, confronting power that the secrets of the dead hold over the living and the choices some women make to break free of them. It definitely gave the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo vibes, and I think that's funny because Taylor Jenkins Reid literally has a blurb on the front that says intoxicating and seductive. So I feel like I can't even say that much about this book because I don't want to give anything away, because there is like somewhat of a mystery. I wouldn't say it's like a mystery novel. I would say it's a historical literary fiction, and I really loved the story of Kitty Carr, who she is, how she got here, and just everything in between. Her life story, all of the secrets that she kept. It was very, very interesting to me. What I didn't love was Elise's character, which a majority of the book is like Kitty's chapters, but here and there Elise is thrown in, and I just feel like Elise's character didn't add a ton to the book. And also another thing that I didn't really love was the overall writing style of the book. It just felt very clunky here and there, and honestly, it felt like the storytelling in Kitty's chapters were so amazing, but then when you got to Elise's chapters, it was like, I felt like they were literally written by two different people because they were so different. If you do want to hear like full spoilers, my full thoughts, review, discussion questions on this book, it will be posted on Spotify under the Chapter Chats podcast on May 31st. But again, I don't want to like give anything away in this video because there is a story unraveling itself in this one, and some very, very important discussions talked about in this book regarding racism in the US in the early 1900s through like the 1960s or 70s, I think it was. I gave this one a 3.5-star rating. I was bored at times, like I said, especially with Elise's chapters. I felt like they added nothing. I feel like she had no character and personality whatsoever. Kitty Carr definitely carried this book. And again, I do like the overall story and plot line, so I would recommend this one. And the last book that I finished off camera in the month of May is Babel by R.F. Kuang. Now, I absolutely loved Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, so I wanted to read all of her other books. After this one, I will be reading the Poppy War trilogy. And again, this is one where I feel like I would not do a good job summarizing the book, and also there's kind of a mystery unfolding itself in this one, so I don't want to give too much away, so I'm just going to read the back of it to you. It says, "An act of translation is always an act of betrayal." 1828, Robin Swift, orphaned by cholera in Canton, is brought to London by the mysterious Professor Lovell. There, Robin trains for years in Latin, ancient Greek, and Chinese, all in preparation for the day he'll enroll in Oxford University's prestigious Royal Institute of Translation, also known as Babel. Babel is the world's center for translation and, more importantly, magic. Silverworking, the art of manifesting the meaning lost in translation using enchanted silver bars, has made the British unparalleled in power, as the arcane craft serves the empire's quest for colonization. For Robin, Oxford is a utopia dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge, but knowledge obeys power, and as a Chinese boy raised in Britain, he realizes serving Babel means betraying his motherland, and as studies progress, Robin finds himself caught between Babel and the shadowy Hermes Society, an organization dedicated to stopping imperial expansion. When Britain pursues an unjust war with China over silver and opium, Robin must decide. Can powerful institutions be changed from within, or does revolution always require violence? So this is like a dark academia fantasy book, while also like a historical fiction in that as well. So a lot of meshing of like genres. This one was quite the heavy read, and I mean that like, I compare it to kind of the same writing as The Secret History. Like, there is just so much information being dumped into every single page that it makes it a heavier read. At least for me, this took me a good month to finish because I would just read like a chapter or two here and there whenever I really had time. This isn't a book that I could like sit down and binge in a day. And honestly, I was a little bored until about 300 pages in, which it's like 550 pages, so that's not bad. Like, you really do have to build up everything that is happening, so I understand why it took a little bit longer for it to start being like more action-packed and something I was more interested in reading. Like, once I got to that 300 page mark, it's probably taken me like a week to finish the rest of the book. So it took me 3 weeks to read 300 pages, but it took me like 1 week to read 150. So I definitely went through those last 150 pages. Or no, 250 pages. What am I talking about? It took me 3 weeks to read 300 pages, but then 1 week to read almost another 300 pages. So it definitely picked up for me, and I definitely wanted to continue reading it after that point. I don't know. I just feel like a lot of the characters, and there are quite a few characters that you're following and that are interacting together all the time, I just feel like all of the characters lacked actual character and personality. And for being almost a 600-page book, to not really have personality in those characters that you're spending so much time with feels kind of bad, right? And not that it was a bad book. I, again, think the overall topics discussed in this are very, very important and very, very real things that happened. And I also think another thing, I just don't think dark academia is a genre for me. I have never really enjoyed it, honestly. I have tried to read quite a few books that are dark academia because I know so many people love dark academia. But I don't know if it's just like the academic setting that I dislike so much. I really don't know what to tell you guys. But I gave this a 3-star rating. Again, I don't want to really tell you too much more. I thought the magic system was very unique. Like, basically writing translations onto these silver bars to then like have powers come out, I thought was very cool. Definitely one of the most unique magic systems I have ever read. I definitely liked more than I disliked, but again, I just don't think the genre is for me, and also I didn't really love any of the characters, and it took a bit to get into. But yeah, I don't really want to say too much more because I don't want to spoil anything, because there's a lot that goes down. So there are the 4 books that I read off camera in May. I hope you guys enjoyed this little review video. Hopefully it's a shorter video for you guys to just sit down and enjoy and get a few book recommendations from. If you guys did enjoy the video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel down below. Also leave any comments on any videos that you would like to see from me in the future. And I will see you next time. Bye!